Remember when you were a kid and you played Madden and you could call the same play over and over and over again and it would work? The NFL's not that simple, right? Well, it actually can be if you're playing Buffalo and you have an RPO. In the first game against Kansas City, Buffalo left their safeties in a too high. They were concerned about being beaten deep. And that's a really good strategy against Kansas City because you can't take everything away, so you might as well make sure they have to work the ball down the field. Well, when Kansas City saw it too high and saw that too high look constantly, they just kept calling to the RPO. Same play over and over. 75% of their plays that day were the RPO. And with a playbook that consisted of nearly one play for the day, Kansas City was able to run for 7 yards a carry. Patrick Mahomes went 21 of 26, and I believe 4 of those balls were dropped. Kansas City piled up 466 yards of offense and were in control the whole game. Killed time of possession, constantly moving the chains, first down after first down after first down. One play, RPO. And this one play has been a problem for Buffalo all season. It's been a problem for Buffalo since last season, which makes it strange that Baltimore has it in their playbook and they didn't really call it very often. I think I saw 2. But it truly combines everything that Buffalo hates. They're not good against the inside zone run game. That's the give option. They're not good at passes that go across the middle. That's the pass option. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's really simple. Now, Andy Reid and company have seen a lot of goodies played out over the season, a number of different ways to hit Buffalo. They saw some good things from the Colts. They saw a lot of things from the Rams that they're going to be able to pick up on and throw into their offense for the day. So there's going to be more at their disposal than the RPO, but if Buffalo can't stop the RPO, that's it. They will hit them with it like a sledgehammer, and they will not stop. That's what Kansas City did in the first matchup. And in fact, there were reports after the game that Reid and Mahomes were a little irritated that Buffalo kept giving them the run read. So they ran for 7 yards a clip. Patrick wanted to pull the ball, Reid wanted to throw the ball, but Buffalo gave them numbers in their favor so dramatically that they just kept handing it off. So the question is, what does Buffalo do to tip the RPO in their favor without giving up all the other issues? And that's the problem with the RPO. It is a counting-based play. If you leave your 2 safeties high to protect against deep, they will run on you. If you bring more numbers forward to stop the run, they will throw on you. And Buffalo isn't one of those teams that gives you a lot of pre-snap, false look games with their secondary. So there's not really an option. From everything you've heard from McDermott in the week coming up, it seems like the same game plan is in effect. So what could Buffalo do to tip this in their favor? Because between the 20s, the game is not in their favor at any point. But there is something that they can do if they've watched film on another team in the red zone that could tip this game completely in their favor. Well, hold on. The defensive side could be tipped in their favor. There's a lot more to this game that we need to talk about, and that'll be on a different video. So go down below, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and make sure you get our previews for this week's games. If you go back and watch Kansas City versus New England, I know it's a painful game to watch because New England had Hoyer playing and then Stidham playing, and it was an ugly game. But you did see a team do something that actually froze Mahomes. And that is a rare thing because Andy Reid's system is very dynamic. They have a ton of weapons. Mahomes is a very good quarterback. You put all those things together and it's very hard to actually take things away from them. But New England was able to do this. They sent 3. They covered with 8. So you don't want to use this in the middle of the field because your run numbers aren't in your favor. You don't want to use this in the middle of the field because you get stretched out too far down the field as Mahomes can hold the ball. But in the red zone where the game is compressed, having those bodies in that coverage could play to your advantage and could get them forced into a few more field goals. So what New England did, and the best way Buffalo could recreate this, is that they played a cloud coverage with linebackers in the flats. They almost had 3 guys up the boundary, a high safety and a middle linebacker in their coverage. They had certain marks in that coverage being taken as man defense. They had certain guys left for zone help. There was a lot of bodies that made the windows very small, and Mahomes had a hard time finding a good enough window to put the ball through. And the best way to incorporate this would to give a 4-4 look. Now, I said it's a three-man pressure, but it's a 4-4 look. You're not going to have 4 linebackers and 4 down linemen out there. It's going to be a smaller lineup in a 4-4 look. So this allows you to push Poyer and Johnson up the field into outside linebacker positions. They are going to bail into a 3 high. Hyde is your middle guy. Now, you would have 4 down linemen, but this is a trick that they had if they dust this off from the past with Lorenzo Alexander, where they would put Lorenzo Alexander in a 2-point stance over the right guard or the left guard based on where the running back lined up. At this point, you get to rush 3 defensive linemen against 4 offensive linemen. It gets the numbers back in your favor a little bit because the guard will have to acknowledge Tremaine, and Tremaine's most likely going to touch him and bail. But if that guard peels off to help right off the bat, Tremaine gets a blitz read and goes right up the middle at the quarterback. This is something they did with Lorenzo Alexander. I hope that they're able to find this for this game in this certain coverage. Now, as far as the coverage goes, it would be a cloud basic coverage where you would bail Tremaine and Poyer back into a 3 high. Your corners would stay up in cover too. This is to help with all of the over the +1 concept stuff that Kansas City does, the overload. If you see the trips that they run where they run everyone across the field, having that cloud will have 2 different bodies to cut off the front side of those routes, and that would help with that. Cloud works against overs. Buffalo, you know that very well because you run overs against Tennessee and it did not work. Having an undersized lineup in a 4-4 look hopefully would get Kansas City to check out of the run because of the number of bodies that you have in the box. Now, is this something that Buffalo typically does? No. I expect to see Buffalo staying soft like they did last game, playing a man's game where you know you're outnumbered, but you got to fight through the blocks, you got to get to the tackles, you got to make a play. Kansas City ran for 7 yards a carry last game. Buffalo's going to hope to limit that to 4 by effort. That's what I assume. With Andy Reid, you know week in and week out that there are going to be gotcha plays that break your tendencies. Buffalo's going to see that. You can't take everything away. It's simply a rule of the defense. If you try to take everything away, you will fail at taking anything away. You have to take away what is most dangerous. Buffalo did a good job of this against Kansas City the first time, but the efficiency got the better of them. It's going to be hard to stop that. But oddly enough, the biggest issue for Buffalo is on the other side of the ball, and we'll cover that in our next video. Love you guys. We need you. Stay strong, and I'll see you on the other side.